This is the AHSAA Weekly, a complete look at everything going on with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. I'm John Holder. Coming up on this week's program, we will visit with Chris Stewart. He will be the MC of the Bryant Jordan Scholarship Awards Banquet, which is coming up live right here on WOTM on Monday, April the 13th. We will visit with Chris Stewart a little bit later on in the program today. Also coming up, we will take a look at the Alabama High School Athletic Association North-South All-Star Football Game. That is coming up later on this summer on Thursday, July 13th at Crampton Bowl in Montgomery. The rosters for both the North team and the South team have been unveiled. Also, the head coaching staff, head coaches and the assistant coaches for both teams have been unveiled as well. We'll give you that complete information coming up later on. And we'll close out the program with a very special Easter message coming from the Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, Coach Steve Savarese. He will address the COVID-19 virus situation and also a very special message to high school athletes, coaches, and parents and fans all across the state of Alabama. All that and more on a very special edition of the AHSAA Weekly.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Stay strong, Alabama.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus?
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA Weekly Show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Back on the AHSAA Weekly, and we're going to check in with a very special guest this week who will join us for a couple of segments talking about the 35th annual Bryant Jordan Scholarship Award Banquet. Now, this banquet originally scheduled to be held in Birmingham, and of course, because of COVID-19, all events being canceled basically across the state of Alabama. This is unfortunately one of those that fell victim to that. But we do have good news. Coming up on Monday, the 13th of May, we will be bringing you a very special program right here on WOTM, and we'll bring you all the award winners from the Bryant Jordan Scholarship Awards. And we'll have our MC for that every year. We'll also be the host of that program, and that is our special guest at this time. Chris Stewart comes in. Chris, glad to have you with us on the AHSAA Weekly this week.
Glad to be on with you, John. Always good to talk to you, buddy.
Chris, for 35 years, this has been an outstanding awards program. For about half of those years, you have been the MC of this event. Just your thoughts on the Bryant Jordan Scholarship Awards. I know you've seen a lot of emotional nights and emotional moments down through the years.
There's no question. This was, when I was coming through high school athletics, this program was just getting started and knew about it then on its, at its infancy. But to have an opportunity to play a small role in it each year is something I'm really honored to have a chance to do each and every year. It's great to see the way it's grown, the interest, the support for the program, and also to see the young people that have come through and benefited from the scholarship opportunities, to see them go on and do things as you expect them to in their lives as adults is pretty cool as well.
For so many years, this has been a program that has recognized young athletes from all across the state of Alabama, every classification from all corners of the state of Alabama, all sports, male and female, not just with athletic accomplishments, but so much more of what happens off the field and in the classroom.
Right. And I think one of the things that's so neat about it, and I can't remember if it was in the second year or the third, but the program changed slightly. It went from being strictly the scholar athlete to the achievement element as well. And you've got young people who are being recognized that have overcome all sorts of obstacles. And each year, those are really special stories as well, whether it's a physical issue, whether it's, a difficult home life. There's been a wide variety of different phenomenal stories that have come through over the years that I've had a chance to hear of young people that have demonstrated incredible character, toughness, so many different words you could use, but in order to achieve great things as athletes and as students. And they've been recognized at the same level, and deservedly so, as young people who are great scholar athletes and doing things at a really high level in the classroom and getting it done on the playing fields and courts as well. It's a fantastic program, and the stories that we get a chance to hear every year are really the highlight of it.
Chris, this year obviously it's going to be totally different, but there's a silver lining to this. No, we won't have a banquet down in Birmingham, bringing these people all together and have a special night with them all in one room, but we will be able to broadcast this to all corners of the state of Alabama. People will be able to see this banquet for the first time, and so I think that's going to be very special.
Yeah, I agree. I think, we've always had phenomenal turnout. I mean, I think you're, and I'm just guessing on the number, but I'm pretty sure it's close to 1,000 year in and year out that fill that Sheridan Ballroom there at the BJCC, and to have a chance to see that many people turn out to recognize the young people in our state is fantastic. But a chance through television to take this all throughout the state in a way that it hasn't been done before is going to be really special, really unique, and hopefully it will get even more people involved with the program in years to come.
Chris, you've had a chance with all these years to work very closely with the Bryant Jordan folks. Edgar Weldon and those folks do a fantastic job. I'm not sure that there's another scholarship program like this anywhere in the United States, to be honest with you, like we have with the Bryant Jordan Scholarship Program here in the state of Alabama. You're
right. It's extremely unique, and it was, I'm pretty sure it was Larry Strickland who was the guy that was the founder of this. I know Larry was very much involved from a financial standpoint in helping to back this in its beginning stages, along with the AHSAA, and it's great to see that it's grown. And you're right, Edgar's kind of taking the banner for this now, and helping to lead the way with it, and has for a number of years. He's a young man, or excuse me, he'd love it if he heard me say young man. He is a man that is terrific in terms of his care for young people and helping them achieve great things. I've known Edgar 30 years practically, and it's not surprising that he is involved with this still at the level that he is. Just a tremendous man who cares about people, and helping to spearhead this to recognize these great student athletes across the state of Alabama is a perfect tie-in for him. And this Bryant Jordan committee, they give an awful lot of themselves to make sure this is indeed one of the premier, if not the premier, scholar athlete banquet in the country.
And Chris, I don't know that we'll have anybody out there that this will be news to, but just in case folks don't know who Bryant and Jordan are, this scholarship program named for a guy named Paul Bryant, University of Alabama, Ralph Jordan, Auburn University. There may be some newcomers to the state of Alabama, or younger people who may not be familiar with these two guys, but obviously the Bryant in Bryant-Denny Stadium, the Jordan in Jordan-Hare Stadium, that kind of tells you all you need to know about these two men that the scholarship program is named for.
John, you and I are close enough in age that we remember when those were the names. Yes. Those were the elite names nationally, not just within our state. And so we don't need the history lesson, but we forget that young people do. And it's pretty interesting. I get a chance to sit in on the kind of the orientation part of things before the dinner each year. And Scott Myers, who's the executive director of the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, kind of gives a quick, tutorial. You folks need to, y'all need to understand who this is named for. You need to understand why it's a big deal. You need to go and Google them later and learn and find out exactly who Suge Jordan and Bear Bryant were, and if you don't know already. But yeah, that's one of the things we try to remind also. They get Bryant pretty easily, but even though it's spelled Jordan, if you're from this state, regardless of whether you're Alabama or Auburn, when you're old enough, that was Coach Jordan. So we try to help them on a pronunciation guide as well. But incredible men, incredible legacy, and obvious that they're still having an impact on young people in our state today.
Chris, you're going to stay with us through the break. When we come back, we'll talk some more about your involvement in high school athletics and catch up more with Chris Stewart when we come back. More of the AHSAA Weekly in just a moment.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Stay strong, Alabama.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus?
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA Weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
And we are back on the AHSAA Weekly, continuing our time now with Chris Stewart. Most folks know Chris as the voice of University of Alabama Crimson Tide basketball. All his outstanding work through the years with the Crimson Tide Sports Network on radio and with television. But he has also had a tremendous history with high school athletics in the state of Alabama. Chris, as we welcome you back in, you have a love for high school sports in the state of Alabama. That, I think, is where your broadcasting career began, as most folks began at the high school level.
Yeah, there's no question. When I was a student at the University of Montevallo, had a chance. My first job was working for a little AM radio station 5 minutes from campus, and we broadcast basketball, football games on a tape delay basis for radio even back then, and having a chance to do those games, and you learn how to, you do a lousy job in front of a small audience, so you get an opportunity to do a lousy job in front of a big audience, and or a bigger audience anyway, and I've been really fortunate. Guys that were great to me at the front end of my career, and the early family is, obviously very much tied in with WOTM, a huge part in giving me opportunities then and now, because I still have a chance to work with them on high school football coverage in Birmingham. But, Don Early gave me an opportunity through his channel at a young age while I was still an undergrad and in college at Montevallo. And then when I got out of school, so many opportunities that, I think you can look at what I refer to as dominoes in life that have to fall for you to get from one spot to another. And for me, Don Early was in the Early family were big dominoes, because they gave me an opportunity through the Alabama cable network to do work that was seen in front of some people, high school sports. And then from there, some people from a college standpoint, Dwayne Reboll at Birmingham Southern saw me and hired me to do their games for 8 years. And then from there, Alabama gave me an opportunity with baseball and then basketball. And hard to believe that I've wrapped up 18 seasons now on basketball and 21 on baseball with the Crimson Tide, and a number of those spent with football as well. But it all started, for me with my coverage of high school sports, and just very grateful for that. And I'm not involved with it now just because I feel gratitude for what was given to me early on in my career. I still enjoy it. I really missed it this past year when I was sick and I couldn't be there on Friday nights and couldn't do high school games, and being away from all that, it was tough. It was one of the things that made my illness so difficult, was that I missed out on that for the first time in years. Not just college Saturdays, but high school Friday nights as well. in this state, knowing what that means, you want to be a part of it. When you're a player as a youngster, and then a coach or a broadcaster as we get older, and so grateful and thankful I've had that chance over the years. And hopefully health will allow me will stay good, and I'll be able to be back and be a part of it next season.
And Chris, I know that folks around the state of Alabama, the young people, you are now a household name in the state of Alabama, household name and voice in the state to these young people. And I know our young people, our high school athletes and coaches around the state, I know they're deeply appreciative of you lending your talents and abilities to this Bryant Jordan Scholarship Awards banquet each and every year. Well,
you're nice to say that, but the honor's mine. I mean, it's really special to have a chance to be there each year. And look, there are a lot of people that put a lot of work into this event. I'm not one of them. They make it very easy for me to basically show up on the night of the banquet, and my job is don't mess it up. And I'm really fortunate because, again, you get a chance to learn about these young people and chance to recognize and honor them, and it's so special, and they're so deserving of it. And we see them,
it's only April.
Friday night for football and other sports as well, but to have a chance to see them and recognize them the way we do with this banquet is a very special event.
Absolutely. Chris, I know it's only April, and you're like me, I think, and everybody else around the state of Alabama with this COVID-19 virus and all the cancellations. We're itching to get high school and college sports started again, and hopefully by the fall that will be coming back. And I know that folks are double anxious to have you back in the saddle again with all of your broadcasting duties with the Crimson Tide Sports Network and high school sports and all of that. Kind of give folks an update on where you are.
Well, I'm really fortunate, after a 3-month stay in the hospital from an infection that developed not long after I had bypass surgery. That was a great success, but had the infection develop and had serious health problems. I'm fortunate to be alive. But after that occurred, I got to come home the day before Thanksgiving and was back at work with Alabama first week in January, and started with SEC basketball play, and had gotten started with baseball as well when we found out 10 minutes before airtime in Nashville that the basketball season, or at least the tournament, was over. We knew that at that point. The tournament had been canceled, and then to find out the season was over, and shortly thereafter that everything for the summer. I've got 2 boys that are playing ball. I've got a 9th grader who's playing high school ball, and I've got a 9-year-old who plays basketball and baseball as well, and flag football, and all of that stuff gets canceled. And so you find other ways to keep them occupied. Thankfully, I've got a wife who's a great sport and plays in the yard with them at a higher rate of speed than I can these days. But I'm out there when I can, and they've got a chance. They're wearing out the basketball goal right now. They're wearing out video games. Thankfully, not wearing each other out, or me or mom yet. But it's just the new world that we're living in right now, and hopefully it's not for an extended period of time, but it's something that's going to make normalcy all the more. We'll be all the more appreciative of that once we get back to it, whenever that happens to be.
Chris, we are thankful and blessed that you are doing well physically and health-wise. We're also very thankful and blessed to have you be a part of the Bryant Jordan Scholarship Awards. Once again, be different this year, the 35th Annual Awards, but it will be live right here Monday, 6 p.m., April the 13th on WOTM, broadcast around the state of Alabama. You'll be the MC and host of that, and I know folks are looking forward to tuning in, seeing you, and seeing all these great stories of great young people that we have here in the state of Alabama. Thank you again, not only for spending time with us, but again for giving what you give back to high school athletics here in the state of Alabama.
You're nice to say, John. It's always great to visit with you. You've been friends a long time, and great to talk to you again, buddy.
Thank you, Chris, for being with us. We'll see you on Monday night. Chris Stewart, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide in basketball and so many other things here in the state of Alabama. And he'll be the MC and the host of the 35th Annual Bryant Jordan Scholarship Awards, live Monday, April 13th here on WOTM. More of the AHSAA Weekly in just a moment.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? AHSAA. Stay strong, Alabama.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus?
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA Weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Back on the AHSAA Weekly. Last week, the Alabama High School Athletic Association unveiling the coaching staff and the rosters for the 61st North-South All-Star football game. That is coming up later on this summer. That will be Thursday night, July the 15th at historic Crampton Bowl in downtown Montgomery. This is a part of the Alabama High School Athletic Association Summer Conference and All-Star Sports Week, which is scheduled for July 13th through the 18th. There'll be all kind of all-star games and coaching clinics going on during that week. There are two 37-member team rosters that were announced this week. You can go to AHSAA.com to get all of the information with the complete rosters for both the North and the South All-Star teams. The head coach for the North All-Star team will be Ernest Hill of McGill-Tulane High School in Mobile. His coaching staff made up of Matt Geohagen of Bibb County, Anthony Jones of Notasulga, Josh McClendon of Greenville, Brian Seymour of Demopolis, and Mark Heaton of Baldwin County down in Bay Minette. He will be the administrative coach. Now, the head coach of the North All-Stars this year will be Jeff Smith of Walter Welborn High School in Anniston. His staff includes Don Dover of Fultondale, Chris Elmore of Fort Payne, Rod Isaac of Midfield, Heath Lauderdale of Susan Moore, Ryan Wally of Gordo, Chris Musso of Haleyville, and the administrative coach for the North team will be Andy Lambert of Haleyville. That is the North staff. There'll be some outstanding players. 37 members on the South team. On that roster, 37 members of the North team. These are all graduating seniors. So these are players that have just graduated high school in the state of Alabama, and this will be their last high school football game in the North-South All-Star football game, which is coming up, as we said, once again on Thursday, July the 15th. That will be at historic Crampton Bowl in downtown Montgomery, a part of the Alabama High School Athletic Association All-Star Sports Week every July. Again, if you'd like more information on the game and if you'd like to see the complete roster of players, go to AHSAA.com. We'll be back with more of the AHSAA Weekly in just a moment.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? AHSAA. Stay strong, Alabama.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus?
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA Weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Wrapping up this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly, and to wrap up this week's program, we want to give you a very special message from the Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, Coach Steve Savarese. Mr. Savarese has an important message at this Easter time of season, not only about Easter, but also about the COVID-19 virus situation. This is to everyone in the state of Alabama, players, coaches, and parents, and everyone who loves high school athletics in the state of Alabama. We'll close the program with Coach Savarese, and we'll see you back here next time on the AHSAA Weekly.
Hi, This is Steve Savarese, Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association. First and foremost, I want to wish you all good health as we face this unprecedented health crisis. I encourage all of you to follow the Alabama Department of Public Health as well as the governor's orders protecting not only yourself, your loved ones, but those whom you may encounter. As we are on a wait and hold from our association regarding the future of sports, I encourage you all to follow our website for the latest updates. Please know all of us, as soon as possible, when it is safe, will return our student athletes to the playing fields, the courts, so they can again bring our country back to a sense of normalcy. Please know that we all are praying for all of you as we enter our Holy Week. And from our association to all of you, we wish you a very blessed Easter. God bless.